Welcome to my mock draft and superstar brand split discussion video. With the first pick, Raw selects World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns. With a SmackDown first pick, they select John Cena. With a second pick for Monday Night Raw, they select the man, Seth Rollins. And lastly, the second pick on SmackDown, they select AJ Styles, member of the Bullet Club. So the brand split has finally been announced live on WWE television. We already knew about it when it was announced last week, but now Stephanie and Shane McMahon have confirmed it on Monday Night Raw in a very, very awkward opening promo that I have to be honest with you, I thought was just kind of dumb. And the first hour of Monday Night Raw in general last night makes some people worried about a brand split. You can't make a good hour one on Raw, so how can we expect a brand split to be good? Let's just say last night was against the NBA Finals, Western Conference Finals, and Game 1 of the NHL Stanley Cup. So there was some reasons for WWE to kind of have a throwaway and then let John Cena's big angle, which is absolutely phenomenal, go down. So here we go. Let's talk about it. Now, some people have been circulating to me on Twitter the mock draft or the leaked superstar brand split list that I 100% believe is fake. I do not think WWE knows who is going where yet. I think they are still trying to figure it out and test in their heads. And the speculation that's really fueling all of this is the NXT The End show, in which Ticketmaster has pulled the event for the NXT TakeOver event in Brooklyn. Now, some people said it was never on there, according to Reddit. Some people had said that it's still on the Barclays website, but WWE.com removed it from their event listing. It'll be interesting to see where things go. But here we go. Based on the list that was leaked, if you didn't get to see it, I'll just name off some of the names. I'm not going to read through all of them that they have. On the leaked list, they have Reigns and Charlotte appearing on both shows. They have Seth Rollins, Sasha Banks, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Ambrose, Cena, Del Rio, Neville. Trying to look for the big names. Dolph Ziggler, Bayley, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, Hideo Itami, with JBL Cole and Byron Saxton as the announcers. For SmackDown on the leaked list, they have The New Day, Apollo Crews, Becky Lynch, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, The Wyatts, the Vaudevillains. They have Randy Orton. They have Tyson Kidd being back. They have Kane, Mark Henry, Jack Swagger. And those three names right there just go to show me that that's an older brand split type list. Eva Marie, Finn Balor, Gargano and Ciampa, Austin Aries, and then the rest of the list goes down. But the commentary team is Lawler, Ronaldo, and Graves, which that would be a perfect booth for me. I think Ronaldo and Corey Graves is what I want. I think they are the best booth going, possibly. If you throw in Jerry the King Lawler as a heel, I think it gets even better because Corey can put over the people. Morrow calls the action, and Lawler's the heel. That booth would be, if this list comes out to be completely 100% false, which I do believe it is, at least the commentary team is good. But let's go down who I think should end up where. Now, at the start of the video, I did draft Roman Reigns to Raw and John Cena to SmackDown. That has been kind of the common thread that people have thrown out there. They've said, all right, it's most likely going to be Cena being on SmackDown. Now, I was hesitant to do this because I think John Cena on Monday Night Raw would be better. I think him having the open challenge as a weekly feature would be a lot more entertaining. I think that it would help fill an hour because you could have Cena facing off against these guys for anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. And you could have these long matches every single week with John Cena versus on SmackDown when you're limited to 2 hours. For some people, they're going to say, well, it's a good thing. Cena's going to be on TV less or a little bit less exposure because it is John Cena. So I would actually consider John Cena on Monday Night Raw. And that was just one of the things I wanted to consider, but I ultimately did put him on SmackDown for this one. Now, the big question is, Roman and Seth have such a history. If you want to preserve rivalries, and if a champion, which I do believe they should have one champion as the end-all, be-all champion, such as Roman Reigns, they should be able to go between shows. But if their home show is Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns on Raw, they do have a history. Splitting them up possibly would be awesome. I would like to see Seth Rollins on SmackDown if Shinsuke Nakamura was over there, AJ Styles, because they could put on some absolutely phenomenal wrestling matches. But for right now, I have Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw because he does have the fans behind him, and I would love to see him eventually get that superstar face pop. Right now, his wrestling style still leans heel, and I know some people say, tell me what are you talking about? He had the biggest pops there is. His high-flying moves get the crowd to pop. Yes, but when he was champion, every little thing he did was heelish. The way he used situations to get out of it and barely escape as champion. That's what heels do, JBL. You find a way to win, and that's what Seth Rollins does. Now, my big picks for SmackDown. I would like to see Apollo Crews on SmackDown. I think that right now on Raw, the last night's promo he had with Big Show was a great spot for Big Show, first of all, and does show that Apollo Crews does have something. He still has a lot more, to go and learn. Even though Uhaa Nation was great on the indie scene, the lack of selling, and he may have been told not to sell. We may be criticizing Apollo. Maybe they told him not to sell as the smiling gimmick. I don't know. But it would be cool to see on SmackDown. Now, if it was me, I would have Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura as the three big names on SmackDown. That's what I would do. I would have those three names because, it's like an indie person's dream, right? If Monday Night Raw is a lot more of doing what the WWE wants to do, such as Roman Reigns, pushing the storylines. If SmackDown was a complete wrestling show, Nakamura, Owens, Styles would be absolutely phenomenal. Now, I did have Randy Orton on the Raw list. Now, and I know some people are going to say, Tubby, wouldn't it make more sense to put Randy Orton on SmackDown? Which I would agree, but Raw still needs big superstars. It is a new era, and in a new era, though, you do need veterans and legends to help put over these guys. Sheamus having that promo last week about being beat and then taking down Apollo Crews was excellent. All these new guys aren't going to do much if they don't have people to help put them over, so you do need older superstars in the WWE to help facilitate that, and you're going to need some in position. But with Orton, as much as I want to see him on SmackDown, and I think it would be good, I don't want him necessarily to take away the slots versus other guys that could help put over people. Now, who else would I draft to SmackDown? SmackDown, I would fill with a lot of current NXT talent, but it depends on who it is. So if I have Nakamura on SmackDown, who is arguably one of the biggest names down at NXT right now, where does Finn leave? Well, the big question is what happens to the club? I drafted Styles first and second on my list. I almost had him above Cena in a way that if they're doing this club angle, the GM of SmackDown can be like, all right, John, you are the biggest name in the company. You know what? But we see the new era. So we're going to go with AJ Styles first, which could lead to some animosity, and that could kind of piss off Cena. What do you mean? I'm the face of the company. I've been here for 10 years. I'm the biggest deal, and you're going to go draft AJ Styles, a guy that was wrestling. Where was he wrestling for the last 10 years? You know what I mean? You could kind of see an edge of John Cena, and I would love, love, love to see that. So when it comes to the NXT talent, I would put a lot more of the tag teams on Monday Night Raw just for the simple fact of having 3 hours to fill. Now, what tag teams am I talking about? Enzo and Big Cass. I would love to have them stay on Monday Night Raw. If I'm looking at a brand split logically, I'm looking at people that can help fill 3 hours, and Enzo and Big Cass on the microphone could easily eat up 10 minutes of a promo, and then they could go into their match. Same thing with the Revival. I think the Revival's tag team style, kind of playing heelish, would work great on Raw. I also think they might work good on SmackDown, but for right now, I have them on Monday Night Raw. Now, I would throw Alberto Del Rio on SmackDown. I talked about legends needing to help put people over. Del Rio would be that guy. By the same token, I would put Kalisto on SmackDown. Kalisto and Del Rio have faced on SmackDown. Mauro Ranallo called that action, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And I would almost put the announce team above the superstars, because when you're trying to set the tone for this draft and figure out who is going where, the people that are calling the action is the biggest thing. Now, I'm watching Raw last night, and Michael Cole was so cringeworthy in segments. Like the Cena club segment, if Mauro was calling that, it would have been the greatest thing ever. I like Michael Cole. Michael Cole does his job very well, but I'm just getting sick of him. And I would definitely, if I could, I'll be honest with you, I would put Lawler, Ronaldo, and Graves on the Raw commentary team. But if the SmackDown is going to get more of the action, keep them on SmackDown. Other people, Dolph Ziggler, throw him on SmackDown. He could put on a lot better matches on SmackDown, kind of show off. The Shining Stars, just get rid of them. You have the Dudley Boys. I would keep them on Monday Night Raw. You have Neville, throw him on Monday Night Raw. He's kind of a highlight. Jericho until he leaves, I would also keep him there. Cesaro, I would actually keep Cesaro on Raw versus SmackDown. I had him on SmackDown originally. I didn't see it going that way. The Club, I think if you have a split, say John Cena and the Club are feuding with AJ Styles, and Cena thinks he's safe on one show, and then the Club comes out and says, we don't, abide by brand split rules. And then you always have to worry about when will the Club show up, because you could have them just like a champion. You don't need them to show up on every show. If they go 2 weeks without a Club appearance and then all of a sudden, boom, the Club is here and they're causing some heyday shit, it would be very, very must-see television. Same thing, Sasha Banks, I would put over on SmackDown, because each show can have their number one contenders that would eventually challenge for the titles. And I actually think WWE is doing the right thing by not putting Sasha Banks on TV until they have a program ready for her. Sami Zayn, keep him on Monday Night Raw to save some of the matches I've talked about with Nakamura, Styles, Rollins. Eventually that crossover will happen, and I think it'll make for some very interesting matches. Other people that I think should go where? Well, guys, there's too many to name. I will have a full list that I'll put out on Twitter. You guys can follow me on social media at TubbyEmu. I wonder what you guys think of my draft picks so far. What do you think about where the people are going to end up? If you have a mock draft, tweet it at me at TubbyEmu. And until next time, it's your boy TubbyEmu, and we'll see you all later.